একবার দেখে নাও, একবার ফেসবুক ইউটিউবে দেখে নাও, একবার ফেসবুক ইউটিউবে দেখে নেবো।
For watering of the
ওই
plants. I would
ওই
request the state
ওই
volunteers to kindly help
গান
us
বলতে
in the watering
রাখছি
of
দোকান
the
থেকে,
plants and
একবার ফেসবুকে দেখে নে তো আমাদের এই প্রোগ্রামটা যাচ্ছে কি।
please join the dignitaries on these stage for watering the plants. And also the conference, Dr. Navina Chakraborty Madam, Dr. Satya Venkataraman, and Dr. Puri Stevens, sir.
Yeah.
I would request everyone to kindly stay back for a main photograph. So we have Mr. Shobhi Basu and along with Oliver and Shmita at the camera. Right here we also have colleagues out there for videography. I would request the dignitaries to kindly take their seat on the stage, please. We are also privileged to have amongst us our guest of honor, Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President, PRSI, India. He is there with us online, and also Dr. Arpan Yagnik, Associate Professor from Penn State University, Pennsylvania, USA. So both of them are there online. But before we start with their session, let us begin with the felicitation of the honored dignitaries. Now, may I now request our conveners, Dr. Navina Chakraborty Madam, Dr. Swati Agarwal ma'am, and Professor Kuldeep Sivan sir to please come up on the stage to join the felicitation ceremony along with the dignitaries. May I now request
এই এই বাবু, ওখানে থেকে একটা কর্ড
May I
মাইক
now
আছে,
request our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir and Senior Vice President ma'am along with the conveners to please felicitate Professor Dr. Manoj Dayal sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Kushala Thakre, Patrakarita Avam Jansanchar Vishwavidyalaya Raipur. I would request Dr. Swati Agarwal ma'am, the convener of the conference and head of the department, please join the felicitation ceremony. We are honored to have you with us, sir. Thank you for joining the conference as the chief guest.
ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে মনে হচ্ছে মুঝে কিন্তু মিউজিক
May I now request volunteers, please take. May I now request our dignitaries to kindly felicitate Professor Dr. Shovindranath Bera, sir, Professor, University of Calcutta. I would request the student volunteers to please come up on the stage and help us in the felicitation. I would request the student volunteers to please come up on the stage and help us with the felicitation. I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor sir and Senior Vice President ma'am to kindly join in the felicitation of our honored dignitaries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request our dignitaries to kindly felicitate Professor Dr. Shambhu Chattopadhyay, sir, Director and Professor, Chanakya University. Please, sir. The student volunteers kindly help us with the felicitation. May I now request our honorable dignitaries to kindly felicitate Professor Dr. Debojyoti Chandra sir, Professor, Rabindra Bharati University. Please give a round of applause for all the dignitaries who have joined us very early. May I now request our conference conveners to kindly felicitate our Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Radha Kamal Goswami sir. Can we have a round of applause for our Pro Vice Chancellor sir? Now, I will request our conference conference to kindly felicitate Dr. Sneha Manju Vasu ma'am, Director IQSC, and she happens to be the former Registrar of Jalapur University as well. We are privileged to have you amongst us here, ma'am. Please give a round of applause for Professor Sneha Manju Vasu ma'am. May I now request our conference conveners to kindly felicitate Dr. Momita Mukherjee ma'am, Dean Research and Development, who has been a former DRDO scientist herself as well. Please, a round of applause for her. Now, we are privileged to have amongst us a Senior Vice President, Madam, Professor Dr. Ankita Chakravarti Bhattacharya, ma'am. Ma'am, we are honored to have you here. We request the conference conveners to kindly have a I would request all the dignitaries present here and the conference conveners to stay back for a group photograph. All the dignitaries, can you please join them once for a group photograph? We are also privileged to have amongst us two esteemed dignitaries.
একটু জুম করেন
Guest of honor,
জুম আউট করে
the very eminent personality. We have Dr. Ajit Patel sir and Dr. Anton Yagnik sir who are there with us online. Sir, of course, we couldn't felicitate you here in person, but virtually we do acknowledge your presence. We are honored to have you, and of course, we would really love to have you at our campus any day. And the moment you are there, we would give you your valued tutorial and memento. Now, without further ado, I would request our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, to please come up on the dais for the welcome address, sir.
কথা বললেই আমার চমচম আমার দাদা হয় চমচম এই ওইগুলোকে সব ভিতরে ঢোকে না
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. Distinguished guests on the dais. My esteemed colleagues from the School of Media and Communication. All the faculty members from other schools also. All
সামনে
my
দিকে চলে
esteemed
সামনে
colleagues,
দিকে বসে
the deans of
সামনে দিকে চলে
different schools, respected scholars, media practitioners, and dear participants, obviously the students. It is both an honor and privilege to welcome you all to this conference. The theme is Gender, Power and Media, Global Perspective on Representation and Resistance. This gathering comes at a crucial moment in our shared history when media is not merely a mirror of society, rather but an active force shaping identities, redistributing power and redefining the boundaries of existence. Gender, as we understand today, is not a separate or isolated category. It intersects with class, race, caste, ethnicity, sexuality, and
না একজন
geography,
অনলাইনে বলবেন
whether traditional or digital. plays a central role in constructing these intersections. It tells us who belongs, who leads, who speaks, and who is silenced. Therefore, examining media through the lens of
Sound
gender
ठीक
and
है
power is not optional, it is
बैठे के साउंड
necessary. For the globe, we contribute to witness persistent inequalities in representation, women and gender. Minorities are often underrepresented, misrepresented, or stereotyped. Their voices are frequently mediated through dominant frameworks that reinforce existing hierarchies. Yet, alongside these challenges, we are also witnessing powerful acts of resistance, from grassroots
Most of them
storytelling
are
to digital activism. Marginalized communities are reclaiming narratives and reshaping public discourse. The rise of media, digital
ठीक है
media,
साउंड
has transformed the terrain of engagement. Social platforms have democratized content creation, enabling individuals to challenge dominant narratives in real time. Movements for gender justice have gained visibility and momentum across the border. At the same time, these platforms have also become sites of new forms of exclusion, harassment, and algorithm bias. This dual nature of media as both a tool of empowerment and a mechanism of control demands critical engagement. This conference invites us to reflect on several interesting questions. How does media construct and contest gender power relations? In what ways do global and local contexts shape representation? What forms of resistance emerge within and against media system? And the most importantly, how can scholarship and practical work together to create more inclusive and equitable media landscape? Over the course of this conference, we can hear from diverse voices, academicians, journalists, activists, and creators, each bringing unique perspectives and insight. This diversity is our strength. It allows us to move beyond singular narratives and engage with the complexity of global experience. Let this conference be more than a space for discussion. Let it be a space for collaboration, for questioning assumptions, and for emerging alternatives. Let us challenge not only the content of media, but also the structure that produces and circulates. As we inaugurate this gathering, I encourage each of you, especially to the students, and contribute meaningfully. The conversation we begin here has the potential to be far beyond this session. Classroom, newsroom, policy spaces, and community. So in closing, I extend my gratitude to the organizer, the School of Media and Communication, along with the others, participants, and all those who have made this conference possible. I wish you all a stimulating and enriching experience. My best wishes to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, for your motivating words. Now I would request Senior Vice President, Madam, Professor Dr. Ankita Chakravarti Bhattacharya, Madam, to kindly share a few words. Please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have been doing a wonderful job. A very warm, happy morning to all the dignitaries on the dais. Of the dais, the school dean, director, Mr. Na, and the students fraternity. I don't know why I am always the chosen lucky one to speak without any paper and without any information. And I'm sure everybody feels that I can just speak impromptu anytime I'm asked for. But then, yes, perhaps this is an occasion where anybody, especially a woman, would always be able to speak. So I congratulate the team, director, and the school for organizing such a wonderful conference with an apt topic. I'm sure today each one of us sitting in this room have enough thanks to what has happened recently. So yes, when we talk about gender, and power, I don't know why these two words always are collaborated together because the time has gone when we move out of gender biasness and we do not ask for power. Rather, we talk about empowerment. So, gender did not have any power, whichever gender we may talk, but empowerment is required. So I'm sure in today's sessions after sessions, you all would be enthralled with a lot of learnings and that should be your keepsake. So thank you. Without taking much time, I definitely on behalf of Agnes University would like to thank all the dignitaries who could make here. And this is students for you to learn more, understand more and ask more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the kind words. Now I would request Dr. Navina Chakraborty, ma'am, Associate Professor, School of Media and Communication, Founder Convener, ICMC, to please come up on the stage to share a few words about the conference.
Namaskar, a very warm and wonderful morning to all the distinguished dignitaries and guests, esteemed academicians, brilliant research scholars, and our vibrant community of students, my colleagues, a very warm welcome to all of you. Madam, we will keep in mind, and you are the guardian soul here. Sometimes your wishes are more important sometimes, and that, that makes the environment to speak. Thank you so much for very much improv. Thank you so much, ma'am. So it is a distinct honor to open the session of fourth International Media and Communication Conference ICMC4, theme Gender, Power, Media, the Global Perspective and Representation and Resistance. Organized by School of Media and Communication, Adams University in collaboration with Research and Development Cell and Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Adams University. The theme is Gender, Power, Media, the Global Perspective and Representation and Resistance. We are very much honored and privileged to welcome our Chief Patron, Professor Dr. Samit Ray, Chancellor and Founder, Adams University. We are very much thankful to our patron, Professor Shriranjan Das, Vice Chancellor, Adams University, our co-patrons, Professor Dr. Ankita Bhattacharya Chakraborty, ma'am, SRVP, ma'am. Now, our co-patrons, Professor Dr. Radha Goswami, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Adams University, Professor Momita Mukherjee, Dean Research and Development Cell, Professor Shiva Manjubasu, Director, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, and our special guests who have joined here, and we are really thankful and honored, Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President, Public Relations Society of India, National, Professor Shurendra Bera, sir, Professor, Department of JNC, University of Kolkata, sir, Professor Shanti Chaturvedi, Professor and Director, SOJNC, Jadavpur University, Professor Arpan Yagnik, Associate Professor, Penn State University, is right now here online, and very old Dr. Devajyoti Chandra, sir, Professor of Bharat University. My heartily welcome, and you are great here. I'm really honored, and think I'm both of all our team extremely happy. Now, I'll just take next 2 minutes to understand. We started just like a seed, ICMC. We coined it, and we thought that we always know that communication is mostly about television, media, social media, and other things. We never thought like, television, media come through with academic understanding. So here we have started, it started with a seed, now this little green plant, and we can see that ICMC 4, this is the 4th year of ICMC, so it's growing, it's a wonderful green tree plant now, and we are make sure that it will be come out with a wonderful healthy tree with that. So on that occasion, the growth of ICMC, a legacy of academic excellence, over the past 3 years, the International Conference of Media and Communication has steadily built a meaningful legacy involving from academic gathering into dynamic platform and rich theory practice within the media landscape. By bringing together academicians, researchers, media industry, and professional students, we have fostered an environment of intellectual exchange and collaborated together. This is the 4th consecutive year we are organizing event ICMC4, building its own brand now under the umbrella of Adams University. This year, our growth reflected in the overwhelming response we have received. We have curated more than 80 abstracts, more than 100 registration that we have, including master, research scholar, academician, industry professional, and they are representing, and such as Jamia Media, TIS Mumbai, Christ, Bangalore, and 8 to 9 different central universities. We got the abstract from these universities. Fine, so that is the wonderful that we are starting by. And the surge in participation in testament of conference increasing the reputation of nurturing critical thinking and advanced media studies as a discipline. Our publication journey from first to third, we have got 5 ISBN book, and this one we are planning the 4th and 5th ISBN book, and we all are is available in Google Books, and all we have 5 copyrights of ICMC. That's the 3 that we are coming for. And thank you so much to all the students, to the fraternity, and my guardian angel of Art Adams University. They are always with us with one dash of information. They're always ready and helping to any extent. So we begin ICMC, we continue to shape a legacy and academic excellence, interdisciplinary engagement and meaningful contribution to the media industry and the societal impact. I'm incredibly excited to see discussion that will unfold over the next 2 days. And with that, I hereby declare the opening the session with a wonderful discourse. Let's exchange some idea with practical and theory, and that's what research means. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now may I call upon stage Professor Kuldeep Seaward, sir, Associate Dean, School of Media and Communication and convener of ICMC 4, to share a few words, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ishita. Shubh Prabhat, Chief Patron of the conference, Honorable Chancellor, Professor Dr. Samit Ray, sir, Patron, respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Sunil Das, sir, Senior Vice President, Dr. Ankita Bhattacharya, ma'am, Honorable Chief Guest of the conference, none other than my Guru, Professor Manoj Dayal, sir, Vice Chancellor Pusha Babu Thapre, पत्रकारिता एवं जनसंचार विश्वविद्यालय रायपुर छत्तीसगढ़, co-patrons BBC Professor Dr. Dada Kamal Goswami sir, Dean Research and Development Professor Mamita Mukherjee ma'am, Director IQAC Professor Sneha Baju Basu ma'am, special invitees Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President Public Relations Society of India, Talbot of Academic Fraternity Professor Tamannath Bera sir, University of Calcutta, Professor Satwan Chattopadhyay sir, Jadavpur University Kolkata, Professor Devajyoti Chandra sir, Rabindra Bharati University Kolkata, Professor Devashri Chakraborty sir, former Dean, Assam University Silchar, Central University, Dr. Arpan Yagnik from Penn State University, who is joining online, USA. Registrar Professor Rajat Ray sir, Dean Academics Professor Rudra Saha sir, Fellow Deans of 10 University, esteemed faculty members, media industry practitioners, notable scholars, dear students, and renowned panelists of the conference. It is both a privilege and pleasure moment for us to host this prominent international platform that brings together scholars, practitioners, thought leaders across allied disciplines under the legacy of International Conference of Media and Communication 4, organized by the dynamic team of School of Media and Communication in collaboration with Dean Research and Development and IQAC Adams University, Kolkata. I extend my sincere gratitude to this intellectually stimulating gathering as well as the noted panelists of 8 different tracks and the participants connecting through online and offline mode. The theme of this year's conference is Gender, Power and Media, Global Perspectives and Representation and Resistance, rings deeply with contemporary media environment at global level. In the age of rapid technological transformations and advancements, ever-increasing digital media consumption patterns in the most populous country on the planet, India, media has become one of the most powerful platforms where gender identities are constructed, contested, and reimagined. Social media outlets like Facebook, Instagram have become integral family member of our personal as well as professional life. These platforms need our undivided attention for whole day. They create a different reality of the society. There is becoming a new normal and setting a different trend called 3 M's of media, also known as media mediated mahal, is becoming the new reality. Social media creates a bubble world, ignifying echo chambers, algorithmic content creation and content optimization is now new wave where Instagram is setting up new beauty standards, virtual perspectives, body dysmorphic parameters, and more. Sometimes the question arises whether this social media is really
এই তো
social.
হোস্ট করা আছে আর
If yes, then which kind of society we are? Who is leading this power? It is content or the context,
ম্যাম ম্যাম
which is serving the basic
যখন
biological
ওনারা
need
বলবেন
of
না স্টেজ থেকে
species that
গেস্টদের
is
নামিয়ে দেবেন
communication.
তার আগে নাহলে দেখতে পাবেন না
Media
ঘাড়
mediates
ঘুরিয়ে ঘুরিয়ে দেখে দেখতে বিচ্ছি
by constructing, filtering and sharing our understanding of the concepts as well as the world, rather
বক্তব্য
than
আগে তুলে
acting
নিই
a
তারপর
neutral
Ma'am.
mirror of society. Media creates narratives, influence perceptions, curate information through technology such as news framing, algorithmic feed, and digital representation, often altering reality and crafting a mediated
একজন US
conception
থেকে
of
আসে।
reality. The conference seeks to explore
কার
how media narrative shape power relations, how
তখন
representation
এসে
of
বলবে ছবি তুলতে পারছি
and influences of perception and how
Eh?
re-assistance
Hmm.
emerges through alternative voices and platforms. From traditional media institutions to digital ecosystem, the dynamic of inclusion and exclusion continue to evolve, demanding deeper research and meaningful dialogue. At School of Media and Communication at Adams University, Kolkata, we believe that media education go beyond technical skill development. It must nurture literacy, critical thinking, ethical awareness, and commitment to cultivate the socially responsible citizens. The intersection of gender and power in media is not merely an academic concern. It is central figure to build more inclusive, equitable, and democratic society and turning human beings
আমার
into
14,000
being human. Our participants and young researchers and my dear media students of School of Media and Communication,
বিশ্ব আসুক জিজ্ঞেস
I encourage you to engage actively, question critically, and collaborate openly. Conferences like this are not just presenting papers, they are all about building networks, exchanging ideas, co-creating wealth of knowledge, exploring diverse perspectives, and fruitful academic and research outcomes. As we are gathered here today, let us reaffirm our commitment to using social media, especially as a media metric multiplier for the empowerment, representation for a positive change. Always remember your device that is your mobile phone is a technology. So technology has always been there to solve the problems and make the life of the life easy. So never let this technology be your master and drive your life. So once again, I welcome all the panelists
be.
and all the participants, and I wish this conference a super success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, without further ado, let us move forward with the keynote addresses today. So, we are honored to have amongst us our chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Manoj Dayal, sir, from Kusharao Thakre Patrakarita, Avam Jan Sanchar Vishwavidyalaya, Raipur. Professor Dayal has so far supervised several PhD scholars and ethical research scholars. His book, titled Media Matrices, An Introduction to Quantitative Research in Mass Communication, published by Sage Publication, has been an integral part of the PhD coursework for most of us. So I can say, sir, I have diligently followed your book. So does all my peers who are present here. And we are really proud and honored to have you here at the university because your book has taught us quantitative research. And I'm quite sure that the students Maybe they would be young as of now, but they would get to learn a lot from you. So without a further ado, I would request Professor Dayal to please come up on the dais to deliver the keynote address. Can we have a round of applause?
Sagar, namaskar, and very good morning to all of you. Am I audible to last right? Great. So very good morning to all of you. Respected dignitaries on the dais, of the dais, online, offline, and as mentioned by my student, Dr. Novina Chakravarti and Dr. Kuldeep Tiwaj, who have received me from airport and have taken all the cares. Also, the person, his name, Deepsita Banerjee, has been running the comparing very nicely, and I'm very much thankful for inviting me on this occasion, and with your kind gesture of green cloud and patta and seal. I'm very happy to be here in Calcutta after a very long time, and I feel privileged to be here. Students are here presented some cultural activities which were artistically creative and creatively artistic, mesmerizing and wonderful. So I'm happy to see such performance, culturally rich performance after a long gap. There are a lot of, the theme of the topic is very wonderful, and it is gender, power and medium, global perspectives on representation and assistance. It is not only timely but deeply relevant in today's rapidly growing landscape worldwide. There are emerging challenges before media. The media is so wide and so large, and there are so many fields in media that it is not possible for anybody to specialize in all the area in one life. It's next to impossible, and a media person has to take new work every day, because every day your formula changes, your inverted pyramid rules changes, the challenges changes, the situation changes, and you have to innovate for writing good news, featurized news, for writing news, views, reviews, interviews, reviews. Newspaper is like an answer book which has got lakhs of examiners, and other media is also judged by their audience. Audience here is again the king. Factuality, accuracy, balance, objectivity, and fairness are the core of media. But somehow this has turned out to be the biggest casualty in media today. Occasionally, I will say, not always. Media is like a mirror, as we know. It is a powerful institution that shapes perceptions, constructs realities, and influences power structures. The way gender is represented in media has profound implications on how identities are understood, negotiated, and contested across cultures and societies. There are commoditization of women, there are portrayal of women, there are objectification of women in media, which is often researched by the students, and not only women, now we have portrayal of men and objectification of men and commoditization of men also. And that was one issue in your topic. Media is also a torch which gives some kinds of thinking, ideas, because newspaper or any media is combination of news, views, reviews, interviews, reviews, and so on and so forth, article, feature. So the editorial page gives some direction to the society. If we could call it an op-ed page, an editorial page in newspaper. Newspaper and other media also. We divide media, not only like print and electronic these days. Now we divide it as news media and non-news media. News media is news portions of newspapers, which is primarily a news items, and then you have an editorial page and op-ed page. Similarly, in other media, so we have news media and non-news media. So division is like this, and news media is like a mirror, and non-news media sometimes work as a torch also. The news media which works in the mirror, it sometimes works as a convex mirror, and sometimes as a concave mirror, which gives the reverse picture of the society. Sometimes it also works as a lens, but it should work like a plane mirror, which should reflect the exact picture of the society. It was a mission, as we all know, before independence. Then it became a profession, then it became a sensation, and now sometimes it has moved to commission also. It should remain a mission and profession even today, because profession also becomes a mission on many occasions. So, but we should not go that direction, which is harmful. There are a lot of vested interest also. Media is like an industry, and in media, many times the theory of economics is more applicable, the theory of commerce is more applicable, the theory of politics is more applicable, and the theory of mass communication and the theory of media is less applicable. So media sometimes fail to attain the main objectives of journalism, as I told you, factuality, accuracy, balance, objectivity, fairness. We have a lot of devices when we do research, how to test the factuality, accuracy, balance, lot of apparatus and tools are there. I'm not going deep into that. Our media is urban based and urban biased. It covers more, though it is a mirror, but the mirror sometimes is focused more on the affluent section of the society. That's why I'm calling it is urban based and urban biased. So it should speak for those who cannot speak. It should write for those who cannot write. It should walk for those who cannot walk. Whether it is women or deprived section of the society or rural segment of the society or country. So these are very important for media. So there are so many things, but at the end I will say that the concept of news which is applicable to all media, whether modern media or traditional media, print media, whatever media. But the concept of news has been taken from the West. It was told by the Western philosophy that we should write what is happening, whatever may be the impact. But ours is a developing country. So we should think of the impact also. The Western philosophy is based on physical pleasure, whereas our philosophy is based on spiritual pleasure. So the concept of news in Indian context should be redefined in the context of a developing country like India and in the context of our different philosophy. But we have been imbibing things from the Western. Now there is some change, some more researches are coming, and so we are moving, considering more seriously about gender, power, and media. So now the issue comes: who controls media narratives, whose voices are amplified, and whose are excluded? How can media be harnessed as a force for equality and justice? Here I am reminded of a quotation, a prediction rather, by Baburao Vishnu Paradkar. He predicted in a Hindi Sahitya Sammelan of Vrindavan in 1925, that means 100 years back, 101 years back. In Hindi, he says that आने वाले वर्षों में समाचार पत्र पत्रिका निकालना बड़े बड़े सेठ साहूकारों का काम होगा। ये रंग बिरंगी होंगे, उत्कृष्ट साज सज्जाओं से सुसज्जित होंगे, परंतु इन सब के बावजूद भी समाचार पत्र प्राणहीन। जो लेखक देशभक्ति की बात लिखेगा उसे विकृत मानसिकता वाला व्यक्ति समझा जाए, तथा ऐसे लेखकों की पहुंच संपादक के कुर्सी तक भी नहीं। This was predicted, and what is happening today? I'm telling you in English what he means to say, that in coming years, so these are very important things. So I'm very particularly pleased to see the participation of more than 80 young scholars and students here today, offline and online, all across the country. You are not just the consumers of media, you are the prosumers also. A lot of the students are making YouTube and they are making videos on Facebook and Instagram. So we are all, many of us are prosumers, you are creators, innovators, and change makers. The future of inclusive and ethical media lies in your hands. Universities like Adamas, as I have learned that it is undivided diamond, right? Uncut diamond. So I will call it a priceless diamond, and you are budding students of this priceless diamond called Adamas University. So this university play a crucial role in nurturing creative thinking, critical thinking, fostering interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, and transdisciplinarity. And it is also bridging the gap, as I have read your materials, gap between academia and industry. Initiatives such as this conference reflect a strong commitment to academic excellence and social relevance. So with these words, I again congratulate the organizers and the team of School of Media and Communication, my students, Dr. Novina, Dr. Kuldeep, and as mentioned by them, all the dignitaries on the dais, and I congratulate you for successfully organizing this international conference with the and I wish it for a great success. And with Cafeteria Upanishad, I will end my speech. Satyat na paramavitavyam, dharmat na paramavitavyam, swadhyaya pravachanavyam na paramavitavyam. Means being media persons, don't deviate from the truth, don't deviate from teaching and learning, and don't deviate from duties and responsibilities. So these words, I thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your kind words. And I would again, once again, like to thank Director IQSC and Dean R&D for their collaboration with ICMC4, as well as the collaborators who are here from the industry, 91.9 Friends FM, and the digital media partner, Edograph, the Telegraph Online. Now, I would request our guests online to kindly be present. I would request the console team to kindly help us to connect to them. We honored to have with us online Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President of Public Relations Society of India for past 21 years and ex-board member, International Public Relations Association. He is the first Asian to be the secretary of the Global Alliance of Public Relations and Communication Management, a consortium of 100 national public relations organizations. Ex-General Manager, Corporate Communication Administration, Welfare and CSR with Indian Oil Corporation Limited. He is the first Indian to achieve doctorate in public relations. With over 40 years of experience, Sir is gracing the conference today with his presence online. I would now request our guest of honor, Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President, Public Relations Society of India, to address the August. Sir, Sir is there online. I would request the console team to kindly pin the video of Sir so that everyone can see him on screen. Sir, are we audible and visible to you?
No.
Sir, can you kindly unmute yourself? You're on mute.
Am I there?
ওখানে দিলে হবে।
You can get me?
ওটা বড় করে দিচ্ছি বড়।
Sir, we are connecting you. Just be on there.
Okay.
We are connecting,
Sir,
ma'am.
we just need 1 more minute. We are connecting the audio of the entire
আগে কাজ করো।
Thank you for joining once again. Sir, can we have a round of applause, everybody? Again, sir, the National President of Public Relations Society of India, all the PR students who have studied public relations, both in UG and PG, you can understand how immense responsibility the National President holds. And he's here to enlighten us, to give us an industry perspective, which is very much important for the conference.
ইন্দ্রজিৎ স্যার এটা
We are about to
কোথায়
connect
ঢুকিয়ে রেখেছে
the
স্যার
audio just in a minute. So everyone, please have some patience and we will begin with very shortly.
এখান থেকে তো লক
না ওখান থেকে হবে না অডিওটা ওখান থেকে আসবে
ওই যে জুম করা হয়েছে জেডএম করা।
Am I there now?
সুইচ করতে হবে এটা না ইন্দ্র স্যার কি রাখতে হবে
Are you getting me?
আরে আমার ল্যাপটপটা থেকে আসবে
কোথায় অনলাইন এডিট করা যাচ্ছে না তো, অনলাইন কানেক্ট করা যাচ্ছে না, তুই কোথায়?
I will request Ayan Chatterjee to please come up on the stage.
Are you getting me?
Sir, we are getting you through our laptop, but
Yeah.
we are not getting you in the auditorium. Sir, we are trying to connect you. Sir, please be with us. We are
Okay.
connecting you within a while.
Once you
Sir.
do it, let me know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Sir, be with us. এখানে সবসময় বসে গেল কেন এখান থেকে? দেখে আসি তো আমাদের হাত
I will request the console team. Can we have a microphone in front of the laptop? So we just need 30 more seconds. And we will be
অডিওটা
yes.
চালু করে
অডিও যাচ্ছে না।
যেটা মিউট করা আছে
লাইট গুলো করে দাও, সামনে লাইট।
দেবো সব সামনে লাইট লাস্ট
Sir, can you speak?
Yeah, are you getting me? You're getting me?
So now you can start speaking.
Okay, thank you. Namaskar, the dignitaries, professors, and participants of this International Conference of Media and Communication on Gender, Power, and Media, organized by the School of Media and Communication at Edmas University. My greetings to the organizing team for the wonderful initiative. Yatra Naryastu Pujyante Ramante Tatra Devata. Devatas reside where women are respected and worshipped. Where women are disrespected, all actions and dharma come to naught and do not bear any fruit. We belong to the country that believes in this philosophy and appreciate women's role in preserving traditions, knowledge, and ethical values. Unfortunately, whole value system of the society has been compromised all these years, and constantly women in the country feel that while we are seeing economic growth going up, we have witnessed huge decay in values. When we are having this conference, whole nation is debating on the unsuccessful effort of the government to pass women reservation bill to implement reservation for women in legislatures in 2029 and increase the number of seats of Lok Sabha. The only indication is the sick mentality of people. While all this is happening, let me make my point very clear that reservation or no reservation, Indian women have always demonstrated their potential, strength, dedication, transparency, and commitment. From the traditional role of bringing up children, taking care of family chorus, and ensuring social order in the society, the Indian woman has today reached the corporate boardroom. She is chief executive. She is in army. She is in police. She is excelling in IT. And where it comes to media, she is no less than her male counterparts. I love the spirit with which women journalists are willing to cover any beat. Although there are 25 to 35% women in media, but the quality matters. Some encouraging data published based on the analysis of top English newspapers in India revealed that about 49.5% of the front page articles published by the Hindustan Times are written by women. It is followed by the Indian Express, which is 40.9%, and Times of India, 31.2%. If Shweta Singh can go to cover war, Anjana Om Kashyap can risk her life in severe Bihar floods, and Chitra Tripathi can take a bullet motorcycle to cover elections in interior villages, there is no lack of potential and commitment. They are qualitatively and quantitatively moving forward in newsroom, but lack of owning the media. Perhaps that with passage of time, this will also improve. I represent the public relations industry of the country, which happily sees positive and decisive role of women professionals in the corporate organizations. It is because of their potential and positivity that whenever there are recruitment drives, they emerge as winners. At the same time, when we talk of gender power and media, we feel concerned about misuse of artificial intelligence and malicious deep fake efforts which pose big threat to women. Today, everyone with a mobile in hand becomes a journalist. He has no academic background and professional ethics, and his stories on social media go viral. This is a matter of concern. Today, while I express my gratitude to your esteemed institution, particularly Dr. Novina, for giving me this opportunity to be with you, I pray to God for a better world which has full of respect and appreciation for women. I take this opportunity to greet you on the National Public Relations Day being celebrated tomorrow and the celebration of 200 years of Hindi journalism in India. I'll conclude by just saying, माँ बहन और पत्नी नारी है, बेटी भी वो प्यारी, आओ उससे समाज दें ऐसा जहाँ कोई ना हो लाचारी. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Yet impactful delivery today. And of course, I can vouch for that the students have got to learn a lot from you. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you once again for gracing this occasion today. Now, let me call upon stage Professor Dr. Shomendranath Bera, sir, Professor, University of Calcutta. We are privileged to have amongst us Professor Bera, who is a stalwart in the field of development communication and international relations, as well as media laws and ethics. Without a further ado, I would request sir to please come up on the dais to share a few words. Sir, please give a round.
Good morning, everybody. Dear Professor Mohnish Dayal, Vice Chancellor of Shabha Thakre Patrakarita Ebong Jansanchar Vishwavidyalaya Raipur, very senior professor of the subject, all my distinguished co-speakers and colleagues, and particularly conveners of this and friends. I congratulate the Adamas University School of Media and Communication for hosting this fourth chapter of the annual event, International Conference of Media and Communication, ICMC. ICMC was first launched in 2023, so far it has already garnered recognition as a significant academic event in the field of journalism and mass communication and media studies, one that is meticulously planned and curated with care. So my special thanks to the young faculty members of the School of Media and Communication alongside the university senior authorities. Each year, they are organizing this international event with exceptional distinction, focused on highly relevant and pertinent themes such as global media, artificial intelligence, media diversity, etc. Now, in its fourth year, the central theme of the ICMC is gender power and media, on representation and resistance. Professor Dayal has already. And I'm really truly delighted to be Adamas University School of Media and Communication for inviting me to join this program. I should also appreciate the organizers for selecting this important topic for the ICMC 4. In a world saturated with images, stories, and information, media is not merely a mirror reflecting society. It is also a force that constructs, reinforces, and sometimes challenges and contests the very idea of gender and power. The media has a significant impact in shaping our thoughts and actions, reflecting and influencing social structures and systems, the order itself. Gender norms and standards play a crucial role in the distribution of power within society. These norms are also reflected in media structures and how it is being operated. It is very important today to promote gender equality within and through the media. Actually, all forms of discrimination based on gender are violations of human rights. And gender equality is a human rights issue and a precondition for sustainable development. That is very important. It's a precondition for sustainable development. It is also very important to prioritize the question of making digital spaces safe for women and girls. We will not be able to build an inclusive information society without gender equality. In fact, that was the declaration, part of the declaration of the World Summit on Information Society in 2003 and 2005. You all know, I hope. At its core, the gender is not just a biological distinction, but a social construct shaped by culture, history, and institutions. Media sits at the intersection of these two forces, acting both as a site of control and a platform for resistance. I conclude with this point that gender representation needs to be positioned, also to be positioned within a larger perspective of power. Representations matters, no doubt, but it may not be the final horizon of analysis. A film may show a strong woman and still reproduce a class privilege. A brand may speak the language of liberation while converting feminist desire into a market segment. So the problem goes beyond representation. In India, the question of gender cannot be detached from caste, religion, and capital together. Here, the control over women is tied to the reproduction of caste hierarchy itself. Gender is not simply an individual identity here. It is tied to marriage, lineage, sexuality, inheritance, and social order. At the same time, religion repeatedly turns women into symbols of community honor, purity, so-called injury, and demographic anxiety. Capital also adds another layer by drawing women into labor markets, media industries, and consumer culture, while also intensifying surveillance, informalization, and moral regulation. A serious discussion of gender and media should ask how women are governed, mobilized, commodified, protected, and punished at the intersection of caste power, religious politics, and economic transformation, along with how women are shown. I'm sure the deliberations on the conference will enrich our understanding of the matter. I sincerely wish this program is a grand success. And once again, I thank all of you, especially my young friends.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, we also have with us another speaker online who has joined us from Pennsylvania. It's around 2:30 a.m. at his place. So, with due permission of the entire panel, let us first call him now. So, we have with us Dr. Arpan Yagnik, Associate Professor, Penn State University, Pennsylvania, USA. And sir, yes, sir is already here. So it is my privilege to have you with us online, sir. So sir has been like not just into academics, he has been a motivational speaker, he has been into faculty development programs, and I remember attending one of the FDPs where he was the chief person, and he has also edited a number of edited volumes as well as journals under Scopus and UGCK. And sir is still now into his videos and writing books about motivation. So today's, I think sir will give us a different perspective on gender and its representation. So sir, over to you. So can we have a round of applause for Professor Arpan Yagnik? Sir, we just need to check the mic once. Can you speak something?
Sure. Mic testing. Go women. Shall I keep saying something? Am I connected now? Okay. So before I proceed, everyone who is sitting at the console table and who is constantly chattering and talking is giving a very difficult time to everybody on the Zoom platform. So please make sure that you speak quietly or not speak. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Yes, it is 2:30 a.m. All my notions of power and gender have been, evaporating slowly and surely, and I have been resisting sleep. But that's what I want to focus on, that the two aspects of representation and resistance. because I find both of them interesting yet problematic from a scholarly point of view. When we talk about representation, I always ask about who is allowing that representation, who is making that representation happen, and what are the power dynamics of the representation. What are the choices? We've already heard that. Is it just for the sake of it? Is there a monetary motive behind it? And also at the same time, somebody else giving that ability for you to be represented is not enablement in true sense. So especially for all the scholars that are sitting over there, students, it's a great area. Please understand representation, challenge the notions of it, go deeper into it, and understand the power dynamics. Where is power? Where is force? Now, what's the difference between power and force? Investigate that also a little bit. Long time ago, Ajit ji is here. Maybe he will remember the famous advertisement of Cadbury Dairy Milk. Kya swad hai zindagi mein. There's that girl, you know, after that boy hitting a sixer, and she comes running and fights and you know, just meanders around, and it's a brilliant ad. And maybe 20 years or so later, or 30 years later, they created an exact opposite version where it was the female who was the cricketer, and the boy did the same thing for her. Now, there has been an awakening due to resistance or the good-heartedness of people. I don't know which exactly. It is very hard to say. But then what has it led to? Unfortunately, most of the media is governed by money. And when there is profitability included in the entire equation, much of the efforts towards equality, diverse representation, so on and so forth, are not considered. I'm going to read to you an organization that claims certain things, that this group operates a social media platform, and the mission is to empower content creators and fans. The group achieves this by providing creators of digital content, creators, with a safe platform to share and monetize their content with their subscribers. The group's business model was founded on the premise that creators should be primary financial beneficiary of the content they produce, and this remains central to the group's strategy. Sounds incredible, and this came out of resistance. But this, I am reading the company of a company called Phoenix International, which owns a social media platform called OnlyFans. For those who know, they know what it is about. For those who don't, that's fine. For some another day, you can take a look at it and how it is disrupting. It's built out of a resistance. It's built on the premise of representation, and still how it has created an uproar and what kind of problems it creates. I just bring this up because there are scholars, and we also need to study this side of the representation. Gender, media, power. There is one hidden aspect, and that is fear. Fear plays a role in gender, in media, and in power. A lot of my current work is focused on fear management. If we are able to somehow manage fear, moderate fear, and mediate fear, much of these issues that we are talking right now, and which also will be discussed over the course of this conference, it might be addressed very profoundly from the lens of fear. So not going any further, I hope I have given some insight, some understanding, some tangent for people, for all the participants to discuss. Thank you so much to everyone at Adamas for inviting me. It's worth being awake for you guys, and good luck for the conference ahead. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arpan Yagnik, sir. As you can hear, the entire auditorium is clapping, and thank you for bringing up such a pertinent issue, a relevant issue that the students must know as well as the scholars must know. Now, we move forward to our next speaker. We have with us Professor Dr. Shantanu Chattopadhyay, sir, Director, Adult Continuing Education, and Professor, Jadavpur University. I would request you, sir. Director, School of Media and Communication, Jadavpur University. So I would request her to kindly address the August gathering. So please come up on the dais.
Thank you, Ipshita. The dignitaries in the dais and off the dais, my friends in the auditorium, dear students, thank you very much for inviting me in this auspicious occasion. The theme of the seminar, as we all know, Gender, Power and Media, Global Perspective on Representation and Resistance. Now, in this brief period, I will just try to decode the theme as I have understood. Now, the theme, this basically deals with the multi-layer issue of our very sociological existence. Marshall McLuhan described mass media as extension of eyes and ears. I'm sure the students here are acquainted with the name of Marshall McLuhan. But by defining mass media with extension of eyes and ears, he actually emphasized at the existence, its extension of our very existence. And this is the extension of horizon. And the horizon of individual, the extension of horizon of the individual often translate into the expansion of horizon of the entire society. Now, this element of expansion is basically the fundamental power of mass media. We know this is multiplicity of message. Now, this multiplicity of message is the key power of mass media, why it is so powerful and why it is so important apparatus for shaping public opinion. Now, these here in this seminar, two apparently asymmetrical but overlapping concepts in the context of mass media, gender and power, have been placed as the theme of this seminar. Now, gender mainly is actually viewed from the perspective of representation. And this power is basically the power structure in which media has to operate and the superstructure of power where media also exists. So this is the, what I said just now, it is apparently asymmetrical but closely associated. Now this representation and how the representation will take place in a particular power structure is very intricate thing to discuss and very important thing to discuss. And if this is also overlapping in nature. So this is how this representation is mainly, we see it in the conventional mediascape, that often we say that these are a kind of stereotypical in nature. But in this context, we are also aware of how this power structure is actually capable of consent framing. We say manufacturing of consent. And here comes the importance of the last keyword used as the theme of this conference, that is resistance. Now, resistance in this perspective to me is actually the scope of demanufacturing consent. So, I think resistance, this word resistance, has to be read as resistance to monopoly. If monopoly takes place, then representation as well as power structure, all these things become stereotypical in nature. So only this questioning monopoly, that means if we can celebrate pluralism, then only it will be possible to bring out the things from the mediascape. It is not only the scope of various technological advancement, but most importantly, this is the variety of content, I mean content diversity. So this is, to me, is the silver line in the theme of this seminar. So we want to break the stereotypical depiction amid a particular power structure. So from that perspective, demanufacturing consent and questioning monopoly is the key aspect. This is very important in scholastic discussion of the media industry. So I think in the further deliberation in the technical sessions, different shades of this pluralistic possibilities will come out, and it will enlighten the theme furthermore. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We are deeply honored and privileged to have amongst us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Shuranjan Das, sir. Now, without a further ado, I would request the conference conveners to please come up on the stage, and I would request the student volunteers to kindly help in felicitation of our Honorable Vice Chancellors. Okay, so sir, I would request you to kindly come up on the stage to share a few words. Please give a round of applause for our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir.
Distinguished members of the House, which includes distinguished panelists and speakers, and of course, my very dear students. Could I first congratulate the School of Media and Communications for organizing this international conference on media and communications, which it organizes every year. And I particularly thank my Dean, Professor Siwaj, and his two dynamic colleagues, Dr. Navina Chakravarti and Dr. Shati Agarwal, for taking the responsibilities in organizing this particular meet. I also compliment the school for choosing a problematic for deliberations, which is of extreme contemporary relevance. I extend my sincere gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor Manoj Dawal for inaugurating this seminar. It is also heartening to find our distinguished panel of speakers, Professor Pathak, Professor Agnig, Professor Chanda, and two of my former distinguished colleagues, Professor Bera and Professor Chattopadhyay, for being with us today. And I put on record the university's gratitude to them for sparing the valuable time with us. I'm seeing Professor Bera after a long time. He doesn't even care to tell me that he's here. Anyway. Now, let me start by asserting that media has certainly emerged as one of the most powerful instruments in shaping public consciousness, capable of redefining social attitudes towards gender roles and identities. I'm sure this particular aspect has been addressed already, but since I have to say something, let me reassert this particular point. Media amplifies women's voices and stories. Media can provide visibility to gender experiences that are historically marginalized or silenced. And this aspect of the media is coming to the fore in recent years in a very forceful way. I do not believe that gender is a homogeneous concept. There are stratifications within gender. A woman coming from a middle class background or upper social class background, and a woman coming from the subordinate social groups or the subalterns, do not necessarily share the same consciousness, do not share the same experiences, do not share the same servitudes and aspirations. And in recent years, the media has been able to provide visibility to this multiple layered of experiences within the gender category. The gender representation in films, television, news, and digital platforms has also the potentials of challenging gender stereotypes and normalize what I call diverse identities of women. This is becoming more and more important, is more and more visible. The rise of digital media and social platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube has particularly strengthened grassroots women's movements, enabling popular mobilization around issues of gender justice and equality. And this is not confined to any particular country. All across the globe, we see how these particular social platforms have been incrementally helping the women's movements in helping them to assert their own rights and identities. Campaigns like Me Too demonstrate how media can catalyze global conversations on gender-based violence and accountability. And in fact, when the Me Too list came out, we were all surprised by the names of some pioneering intellectuals within that Me Too list. Media can also play a crucial role in spreading awareness about women's legal rights, women's health and opportunities, particularly for the marginalized sections of the gender. I am sure all these aspects have already been addressed or will be addressed in the coming days. You have a two-day conference. What I would now like to address, what I have just said is this is only one side of the story. But there is also another side of the story which is certainly of great concern, which is certainly discomforting. Because despite all its potentials, media can also perpetuate harmful gender stereotypes. And this is continuing. Media can also contribute to gender objectification. And these two processes of perpetuating gender stereotypes and gender objectification certainly undermine gender empowerment. They reproduce gender inequality. They reproduce and reflect broader social hierarchies rather than resisting them. And one can cite numerous examples of the harmful effects of the media that I have just mentioned. It is true that the feminists and queer voices have been using media to assert their agency, to assert their visibility. But it's also true that still now the dominant section of the media continue to recreate patriarchal frameworks. And that still continue to represent gender representation. There's a whole range of studies which show how the commercialization of the media can lead to what I call commodification of women's bodies and reinforce patriarchal norms rather than dismantling them. And this media is doing despite its immense positive potentials of upholding women's empowerment. It is true that social media platforms such as Instagram and YouTube have created opportunities for self-expression. But we cannot also shut our eyes to the process of how these platforms can also expose women to trolling, to harassment, and to gendered violence. There are enough instances to show how media can become a site of counter-mobilization and regressive ideological hegemony. Besides, there is also the issue of the digital divide, particularly in countries like India. And this digital divide continues to exclude a large section of women, especially the rural and marginalized communities, which limit their access to the use of the media for empowering their own selves. There's also the issue of what I call intersectional inequalities based on class, caste, race, and geography, which mean that not all voices of women are equally heard or amplified within the media. And this is an issue which is particularly true in a country like India, where social inequalities is a fact of life. Media industry can itself reflect gender disparities in leadership and decision making. I was just reading the other day an article which shows that the media industry across the world still remains highly male dominated. And if this is true, how can we ensure that media will influence women's empowerment? We need to break the male monopoly, the male domination, the male hegemony over the media industry to ensure that the full potentials of the media can be used for gender empowerment. One can therefore contend that media is not inherently empowering or disempowering. I do not believe in the theory that media can instantly empower women. The question therefore is not merely whether media promotes gender empowerment, but under what conditions and in what processes media can meaningfully and inclusively promote gender empowerment. Media thus remains, I argue, a contested space in the matter of gender empowerment, whose impact depends on how it is produced, how it is consumed, and how it is regulated. Unregulated media, I do not think, can automatically promote women's empowerment. Women's empowerment depends on how media can be regulated and how the media houses can itself be freed from patriarchal domination. Media, therefore, remains an arena of negotiation where empowerment is neither guaranteed nor absent. But media constantly remains a site of construction, challenge, and redefinement of gender identity. Not unnaturally, Noam Chomsky, in his famous tract Manufacturing Consent, had warned us that media always remains a site of control, a site of negotiation, as well as a site of potential resistance, rather than a neutral channel of information. I do not think media automatically becomes a neutral channel of information, but you have to ensure that media is used in a positive manner so that the potentials of media for such social issues as gender empowerment becomes a reality. And it was in this context The famous American feminist journalist Gloria Steinem had contended, and I conclude, and I quote from Steinem: the media can be an instrument of change. It can maintain status quo and reflect the views of the society, or it can challenge these views, unquote. So, media is an instrument which automatically does not guarantee women's empowerment. But media remains an instrument which needs to be used in an effective manner so that it becomes an instrument for women's empowerment. And let this quote that I've just mentioned from Gloria Steinem be the guiding spirit while we discuss the problematic chosen for the seminar. I wish the seminar every success. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir, for being such a guiding spirit to all of us. Now, I would request the conference conveners and the valued honorable dignitaries to please come up on the stage for a group photograph. Professor Dr. Sneha Su, ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Manoj, sir, please come up on the stage. And I would request, sir, to please stay back for a group photograph. We would request the console team to give us light for a group photograph. I will request all the faculty members who are present here to please come up on the stage. All the faculty members who are the members of the organizing committee, please come up on the stage.
He is very funny.
So, dear students, as Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir has today pointed out, that there are issues related to doubly marginalized women, as well as how media has acted as a catalyst, playing a positive role during Me Too movement. But there are challenges. There are challenges which lies within the harmful role of media in perpetuating gender stereotypes, where dominant frameworks of media still reflects commodification of women and women body. It is high time that we address to these issues of digital divide and hegemony, as Sir has rightly pointed out, and thereby have a better regulation for media and using media in future. Now, without a further ado, I would request our valued guest, Professor Dr. Debojyoti Chandu sir, Professor Rabindra Bharati University, who happens to be a former IFS officer and also a former news anchor in the early days of his career before he joined academics, and his decades of experience in academics. He is here today with us to share the address. I would request, sir, to please come up on the podium.
Distinguished personalities on the dais, my revered colleagues, dear students. Let me first congratulate the School of Media and Communication for organizing this conference for the 4th time and also inviting me for this seminar. The theme of this seminar is indeed very pertinent And first, let me wish all of you a very good afternoon. When we switch on television, scroll through Instagram, or watch the evening news, we are not just consuming stories, we are consuming power. And for centuries, one of the most visible ways power has been organized in society is through gender. In this conference, we will discuss how media and gender are tied together, how media reflects gender power, reinforces it, and sometimes resists it. First, media mirrors the world it comes from. If boardrooms, parliaments, and film sets have historically been run by men, the stories they tell will carry the imprint. And that is why for decades, news experts were him, and the hero was him, and the prize of the hero was her. Researchers call this symbolic annihilation, the term coined by George Gerbner. It means that if you are not represented or only represented in narrow ways, society learns to see you as less important. Think of early cinema. Women were mothers, love interests, or villains. Men were doctors, leaders, soldiers. The mirror was cracked and it showed only one kind of the face. But mirror does not always reflect, they also teach. Cultivation theory tells us that heavy media exposure shapes how we see reality. If girls grow up seeing 10 male scientists for every female scientist on screen, they learn what a scientist looks like. If boys never see men crying, they learn what strength looks like. Media doesn't show power, it trains us to recognize it. How media reinforces gendered power? So how exactly does media reinforce gender power? Let me give you 4 examples. First is, very importantly, stereotyping. Stereotypes are mental shortcuts, and media loves shortcuts. A caring nurse, the aggressive CEO, the hysterical women, the emotionless man. These frames are sufficient for a 30-second ad or a 90-minute film, but they box people in. Advertisement still sell kitchen cleaners to women and cars to men. News still asks female politicians about their clothes and male politicians about policy. The frame becomes the cage. Second is, very importantly, underrepresentation. The Global Media Monitoring Project, which studies news worldwide, found that only 24% of people heard or read about in news are women. Behind the camera, the numbers are similar. When newsrooms, film crews, and algorithm teams lack gender diversity, the definition of newsworthy stays narrow. Power decides who gets the microphone. Third is sexualization and objectification. Laura Mulvey called it a male gaze. Cinema often assumes a male viewer and offers women as objects to be looked at. This isn't just about individual choice. It's about the system where visibility is conditional. You can be seen, but only if you look at it in a certain way. Fourth, very importantly, and especially in our subject, framing and agenda setting. Media don't tell us what to think, but they tell us what to think about. When violence against women is covered as crime of passion, instead of gendered violence, the frame changes the solution. When parental leave is framed as women's issue rather than a family or economic issue, men are written out of the story. Framing is power. Media as a site of resistance and change. But here is the hopeful part. If media can reinforce power, it can also redistribute it. The same tools that build stereotypes can be used to dismantle them. Therefore, the shift in representation behind the screen, when more women and non-binary people become directors, editors, journalists, the stories change. Dangal doesn't look like the old sports film. Newsroom with gender-biased leadership cover domestic violence and menstrual health without treating them as soft news. The field of experience, as Shram would say, expands. The second shift, of course, today is new narratives of how to see men as caregivers, women as flawed protagonists. Children's media shows boys who paint and girls who code. These aren't just politically correct changes. They expand the imagination of every child watching. The third shift is digital media and counter publics. Social media has given a microphone to people traditional gatekeepers ignored. As Sir was telling, Me Too was not started by a news channel. It was started by survivors who found each other online and forced institutions to listen. Hashtag feminism, queer theme projects, Dalit women journalists on YouTube. These are new public spheres. To use Habermas's term, they are messy, they are flawed, but they are real. That was once centralized is now contested in this. The fourth shift is policy and accountability. Advertisement councils now pull sexist ads. Film certifications question item songs. Newsroom have gender audits. AI companies are being asked why their image generators default to a doctor is equal to man and nurse is equal to woman. This is Frankfurt School territory asking who owns the platform, who writes the algorithm, and whose interests it serves. The culture industry is being cross-examined. The complications we must face. Still, we are facing complications. Visibility is not the same as power. Putting a woman on a poster while the boardroom stays unchanged is merely tokenism. Empowerment ads can sell products while changing nothing. That's what scholars called commodity feminism. But where do we go from here? First, read media, don't consume it. Who made this? Who is missing? Who benefits from this frame? Media literacy is a form of power. Second, create and support diverse stories. Third is reject lazy binaries. What I mean by this, strong women don't have to be like men. Kind men are not weak. Leadership is not a gender. The more complex our characters, the more freer our reality. Fourth is hold platforms accountable. Algorithms today are not neutral. Demand transparency. Support regulation that protects speech while curbing coordinated abuse. A public sphere needs safety, not just access. In conclusion, I would say gender and power are old partners. Media was their messenger for too long. It delivered a message that limited half the world and boxed in the other half. The messenger is changing. The script is being rewritten, sometimes in big studios, often by people with a phone and something to say. The question is no longer, does media affect gender? We know it does. The question is, what will we use media to do about gender? Let's use it to build a mirror that shows everyone. Let's use it to tell stories where power is not a birthright, but a shared responsibility. Because a society that sees all its people clearly and fully is a society that can finally see itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. In the time when we say that medium is the message, our honored speakers today had asked a pertinent question: whose medium, whose representation? Before we say medium is the message, we must first understand who does it belong to and what does it represent. On that note, may I now call upon stage Professor Dr. Sneho Monju Basu, our Senior Professor and Director, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Adamus University, former Registrar, Jadavpur University. Madam, I would request you to kindly share the end note of the inaugural ceremony. Ma'am, can we have a round of applause for Madam?
Good afternoon, everybody. I think we have come to the fag end of the first session. That means the inaugural session of this 2 days conference, international conference on media and communication on the theme Gender, Power and Media, Global Perspective and Representation and Resistance, organized by the School of Media and Communication in association with the Internal Quality Assurance Cell. We are really glad, privileged, and honored to have with us the eminent speakers, eminent dignitaries, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir. Today's our Honorable Vice Chancellor and the Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Manoj Dayal, Sir, Vice Chancellor Kushabhau Thakre, Patrakarita Abham, Janasanchar Vishwavidyalaya, Raipur. Sir, we are really grateful to you for honoring this international conference and deliver the keynote address. We are also grateful to all the panelists, Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President, Public Relations, Society of India, Professor Somendranath Bera, University of Calcutta, Professor Shantan Chattopadhyay, Jadavpur University, Professor Debojyoti Chando, Rabindra Bharati University, and Dr. Arpan Yagnik from Penn State University. I am really grateful to all these speakers, eminent speakers, and I must congratulate the organizer, especially the convener, Dr. Kuldeep Sach, Dr. Nobina Chakraborty, Dr. Shati Agarwal, and my all dear faculty members of media and communications, especially Ipshita, Arnob, and all my dear friends for organizing such a nice international seminar where they have assembled so many great persons, so many great speakers from the media and communication sector. And I must congratulate and extend my heartfelt greetings to all my dear students and all the participants and research scholars who have shown their patience till the morning, till now, to listening to all the speakers attentively. Thank you, my dear students. At this stage, I will no longer extend my lectures or my speech because this is not the time of listening the speech. There are so many eminent speakers and panelists on this theme. I think you'll be enriched enough by their speech, and I wish this seminar a grand success. Thank you once again. Have a nice day and have your lunch and spend the conference in a very beautiful mood. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. With this, we end the inaugural ceremony and now we move forward to the plenary session 1. The plenary session 1 has the session in charge as Dr. Swati Agarwal, Madam, who is the convener of ICMC 4 and also the head of the Department of Media Studies, School of Media and Communication, Adamus University. After plenary session 1 ends, we will move forward for the lunch break. And after that, we will again begin with plenary session 2 in the second half. In the second half, along with plenary session 2, we will have 9 parallel technical sessions with faculty members as moderators and session chairs and co-session chairs as as eminent dignitaries from around the country. We have a number of professors and associate professors who are joining us from various central and state university. So we are about to begin with plenary session 1. All the students are requested to stay back. You are not supposed to leave the auditorium. We will begin with plenary session 1. So with this, we conclude the inaugural session of International Conference on Media and Communication, ICMC4, in association with IQSC Adamus University, Office of R&D Adamus University, and Digital Media Partners 91.9 Friends FM Digital, and the Telegraph Online Digital Edugraph. Thank you. Students, please stay back. We are beginning with the plenary session. We have a number of eminent professors who are joining us from various central university and state university, as well as professionals from the field of media and communication and media and entertainment. So we are about to see them here live. I would request you all to please stay back.